Bulletcast for life. Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the...
Ladies and gentlemen, you know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. Just in case if you don't, I'm a 24-year-old piece of gold, the messiah of the microphone, and the greatest sports and recreational podcast from the world today, the Pod Father. And yes, just like Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roddy Strong, and Adam Cole, baby, this title reign is hashtag forever undisputed. For life, brother. I'm still the Bulletcast champion, 102 days today. You know, but I couldn't have done it without the man I took the title from. He's my tag team partner, the Jimmy to my J, the Teller to my R, and the Stevie Ray to my Booker T. Ladies and gentlemen, host of the award-winning Under the Radar, host and creator of Curveballs and Chair Shots, the Canadian Destroyer, first ever and 8-time Bulletcast champion, BT Brandon Tanguma. Brandon, episode 170, how you doing today, man?
You know, Phillip, I'm doing just fine. Things are starting to kind of open up a little bit, maybe someplace a little too fast, but I'm doing just fine.
I'm glad to hear that, man, you know. I need you for this, man. BC doesn't really get going without you, man. You're a coveted part of what we're doing here, man.
So is it too late for me to ask for my release?
Oh yeah, no, you're locked in for the long haul. You're locked in for at least the next 5 years.
I mean, that's what the OC thought, and then they got kicked to the curb.
No. You're in this for the long haul, buddy. I'm sorry. You know.
I'm essential talent.
Oh, of course, absolutely. You know, we're essential to the wrestling community with our podcasting. You know. All right, Roman Reigns erased from WWE history apparently. In the video package of Seth Rollins cashing in his Money in the Bank contract, WrestleMania 31, Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara. Brandon was in attendance. The video package shows Seth running down the ramp, curb stomping Brock Lesnar, 1, 2, 3, and when the black fades back into the lights, Seth Rollins is holding up the WWE title, swinging it like he did that night. No Roman Reigns to be seen. This obviously has to be done because of, well, Roman being... What am I trying to go? I forgot my thought process. Anyway, look, he's erased from that video package because he refused to do WrestleMania, because he's refusing to work, because he's immune compromised due to his leukemia. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. I might have one or a few. I do think that it is strange that WWE decided to protect a finish from like 5 years ago, even though like they showed other finishes from other pay-per-views many times besides then. So it seems like they kind of went out of their way to not show the pinfall there. So my conspiracy theory is that they're, you know, they see the conspiracy theories out there, but they're doing like a reverse conspiracy theory where they're like leaning into it, but technically they're actually like, you know, blackballing Roman Reigns so then he can come back and he can be like the people's hero, and he's going against the authority even though the authority is still behind him, and everyone's going to work themselves into a shoot, and it's like a double layer conspiracy. And I am like the meme from Always Sunny with the dude and the chalkboard and the conspiracy theories everywhere.
Oh, you mean Charlie Day? I love Charlie Day. One of my favorite actors. Yeah, I don't think it's all that, you know. He refused to do a job, so that's his punishment, so to speak. And I heard he's not allowed to be spoken of on WWE television. So, yeah, you know, maybe they should just release Roman Reigns.
As much as I bash Roman Reigns on this podcast, if he were to, let's say, sign with AEW and they finally turn him heel, I think that would be fantastic business for that company.
He'd be the most over thing in the business. I mean, could you imagine Joe Anoa'i just tearing it up in AEW, running through everybody?
Or maybe he joins his boys over there at the Bullet Club.
Ooh, Roman tearing it up in the G1 would be nice. That would be a nice. The Islander side of the Bullet Club, him, Tongaloa, Tamatanga, Haku. And don't they have another one over there? I'm pretty sure there's another one of those guys over there.
I haven't seen New Japan in like 4 months, so it's kind of hard.
Or he could just join all the Samoans that raided APW that one night. Could you imagine him and Jacob Fatu at the helm of that thing? The minds of Rikishi and the Tonga Kid, and then you have all these other ones just tearing it up. Lance on Hawaii and all these other people. That'd be amazing.
Roman Reigns to MLW confirmed.
Absolutely. Speaking of another member of the Hawaii Wrestling Dynasty, Jimmy Uso is out for 6 to 9 months. I forget what kind of injury he has, but yeah. You know, once one tag member gets injured, the other one gets pulled off of TV.
I believe it's some sort of, if it's not a knee injury, it's definitely some sort of lower body injury, if we're going to go with the NHL description of it. I believe he injured it during the singles tag team match at WrestleMania, so, I mean, it sucks for the Usos. The tag team division is already so weak over there on SmackDown to begin with, which kind of shows why they're bringing in the Lucha House Party and the Forgotten Sons. And it kind of sucks because the Usos just came back, and then now they finally get a little bit of momentum, and then they fall right off the wagon again.
Yeah, okay, you mentioned the Forgotten Sons. I'll just say this right here. I know they're doing the whole Sons of Anarchy gimmick. Look, Sons of Anarchy ended in 2014. They're 5 years too late. They're 12 to 5 years too late, 2008 to 2014. If it was in that time frame, that'd be great, but it's not, so let's, I don't know, just not do this.
Well, WWE isn't always on the cutting edge. It's kind of like Zack Ryder doing a Jersey Shore gimmick when Jersey Shore was like in its last season and it wasn't as hot as it was.
Really? I thought Jersey Shore started in like 2011. Didn't it?
Maybe I'm thinking more Robbie E. and Impact.
Yeah,
That was definitely way too late.
He started his like late 2012, 2013, so you can you can debate it. You can debate it. No, you'd have to see.
Snooki, greatest celebrity performance in a match ever.
Let's go to the beach. Is that how she said it?
It's Where's the Beach.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I've honest to God, I may have never seen 5 minutes of that show. I'm being completely honest with you.
Big Jersey Shore fan over here.
Their
new episode today. Can't wait.
I thought it went off the air. What is this new episode? What are you talking about?
Basically, you know, they're all old people now, and they get together and they go on vacations. They're in New Orleans right now for Angelina's bachelorette party, and JWoww and Vinny are going to get into a fight because Vinny didn't like properly describe when Jenny's boyfriend was cheating on her. It's a whole thing, Phillip.
Wow. Okay, so Jersey Shore. Here we go. First air date December 3rd, 2009. Wow. Final air date December 20th, 2012. So Zack Ryder was on the cusp. He was right there.
He was on the back half. I mean, Jersey Shore was really hot. 2009 to like 2010.
Yeah. Wow. So which one of these guys was the situation?
I mean, they're all white guys with like black hair. I can't really describe them.
I don't know. Paulie D, man, he had that interesting kind of haircut. He was killing the game with it.
JWoww and her then boyfriend were actually at Double or Nothing last year.
JWoww was at Double or Nothing.
Her ex-boyfriend was an aspiring wrestler.
Wow, I didn't know JWoww was at Double or Nothing. Oh my god. Back to wrestling. Kevin Owens is also injured. He injured his ankle doing the sign dive spot on Seth Rollins back at WrestleMania. And you know that WrestleMania was taped in the second to last week of March, and he's had I don't know how the severity of his injury. Don't know how long it's gonna take for him to recover, but you know, maybe he's just enjoying this time at home with his family. You know, so that explains why Kevin Owens wasn't put into the championship picture with Drew McIntyre after WrestleMania. So you know, hopefully Kevin has a speedy recovery and he gets back to it.
Yeah, Kevin cut a promo like the show after or a week after WrestleMania, and it was kind of ambiguous. He didn't really go one which way. There was no angle being cut, so they didn't really know exactly where he was going to go. I also heard that maybe he was one of those guys sitting out because he doesn't want to, you know, put his family at danger and whatever, but I mean, he has an injury. He's going to be gone for who knows how long, and I mean, it sucks. Kevin Owens, I think, was gaining a little bit of momentum, but with Drew McIntyre being the top being the top guy, being a babyface. Really no room for Kevin Owens in the title picture, so he would just kind of be that next guy down, maybe facing, whoever Drew isn't facing.
That makes perfect sense. All right, say yeah. The Revolt, once the Revival. Oh my God, I'm going to butcher these names. Brandon, do you think I'm going to butcher them?
Of course not, Philip. I have the utmost faith in you.
All right, Cash Wheeler, which was once Dash Wilder, and Dax Hardwood, who was once Scott Dawson. There we go. They were on Talk is Jericho. They discussed, what led them to leave WWE, obviously, and the pictures that surfaced online of the gimmick that Creative and Vince wanted them to have. And have you listened to this episode of Talk is Jericho, Brandon?
Philip, I actually have.
What? Do you know how many times I've said something on this show and you've never listened to it? I'm happy, man. Did you watch this episode's Dark Side of the Ring? Did you watch this week?
I did.
I did not. Wow.
I
missed Dino Bravo and I missed Herb Abrams. We'll cover those probably in separate bonus podcasts. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, man, this was really interesting. They talked about places they're gonna go work, and they obviously alluded to the Young Bucks match, and they talked about how they've never even met these guys in person, and when they meet them, they're gonna show them how to work, show them how to wrestle. I'm like, ooh, there's a little shots fired there, and I love it. Loved everything about it. They talked about the origins of the Shatter Machine and how Jericho, they heard he was upset about this generation kind of ripping off their stuff, but they worked that out. It's a really good listen. I'm incredibly happy for these guys to get the chains off, and they just wanted tag team wrestling to be featured. They said we don't care about the titles. They don't really mean anything. We just want this division to be featured. I'm like, I respect that. Respect that 100%.
I enjoyed the podcast immensely. It wasn't on the same level as Moxley or Punk's, where they just completely exposed the business and just, really said everything about what was going on with it. But they did, kind of bring to light some things that we already kind of knew, that they really wanted the tag team division to be at the forefront, or at least protected a lot more than they actually were. And those just stupid pictures that surfaced online were legit. And, I think they came across nice. I think that it puts a little fuel on their fire, that once all this stuff eventually blows over, that they will be a hot commodity on the indie scene, and wherever they land. They didn't say that they're going any which way. I kind of hope that they're on the same kind of Jericho Moxley deal, where they can wrestle for both AEW and New Japan. I'd really love to see that happen.
Yeah, and get those deals where they can go do some indie stuff if they want. Yeah, I'd love that, man. Oh man, could you imagine God versus the Revolt? That'd be amazing. And obviously, I think we will get Bucks versus oh my God, what was it? Bucks versus the Revolt. I'm excited for that. I'm happy for these boys. It's gonna be good stuff wherever they go. Them versus the North, Ethan Page and I forget his tag partner's name, but I think that'd be a really interesting matchup for the Impact Tag titles. All right, Corey Graves possibly getting back in the ring. So he was training with his brother Sam Adonis, who we've seen out here at APW quite often. He was training with his brother. This is the first time he's been in a ring since his retirement back in 2014. And he talks. He had an interview and he said, people have come back on their own terms, like a Daniel Bryan and especially an Edge that really reinvigorated. Maybe he could do this, and if he can do this safely, I think that'd be great for him. His career ended so prematurely. He was an NXT Tag Team Champion with Adrian Neville, now known as Pac, and if he can do it, man, I'm happy for him. But if he can't, then I think he might be content with just being a commentator for WWE.
I feel like we've talked about this before, and I think that Corey Graves, if he wants to, if he's clear to, and he's, if he can, I'll, let him do it. But if it was me, I just don't really think, from the fan perspective, that there's really that much really in Corey Graves returning. Yeah, people kind of like him. He's kind of a heel on commentary, but it's not like Jerry Lawler or, Edge, Dana Bryan, where they're kind of beloved figures that if they were to kind of come back, then there's some cachet behind it. Yeah, I mean, Corey Graves, I haven't really seen him wrestle, to be honest. Like, when he wrestled in NXT, that was kind of before I really watched NXT. So, if he's healthy and he's allowed to, let him do it. But I just don't think that he really should, because if he does wrestle in WWE, I don't really think it's going to make that much of a difference. And I think he has a pretty good gig being the, kind of top heel commentator.
That's true. That is true, man. But you never know. In NXT, you could pop back up there. That might be good stuff. All right, New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors, MSG canceled. Those shows have been canceled. Tell us, Brandon.
Well, New Japan has kind of been one of those first wrestling promotions that's been hit by the coronavirus pandemic, and they've been very vocal in saying that they're not going to run any shows. They're going to be, wait till everything is not back to normal, but they're going to take the health and safety of the wrestlers, the fans, the staff very seriously. So they've been just continuing to cancel shows. Best of the Super Juniors, the last time they really ran a show was like late January, and they haven't done anything. And now the MSG show, Wrestle Dynasty, that was supposed to take place SummerSlam weekend in Madison Square Garden, has been postponed. No date. Don't know if it's going to be a full year postponement, if maybe they're going to postpone it or reschedule for a later date, maybe early 2021. But it definitely makes sense. If New Japan isn't going to be running shows in Japan, then why are they going to run a show in America, where it's, especially in New York, where that's kind of just like the central hub of all the cases in America at this point. So I mean, New Japan, it seems though they're going to be gone for a long time. And it kind of sucks, because I was really wanting to watch a lot more New Japan and kind of get back on that grind. But so be it. But, good for them by sticking to their guns and still, paying the wrestlers and everybody involved in that company.
I mean, they could just be deemed an essential business. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that, they had some balls in to go for that. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm not the biggest New Japan guy here. When Cody was there, I loved watching it. I did. I really did. When Jericho went there, I'm like, oh, a big star's finally there. Let me watch it. Those guys aren't there anymore, so why should I care? Give me one good reason why I should care, Brandon.
Because they have the best wrestling in the world.
That's not NXT.
They have the best wrestler in the world.
Drew McIntyre's not there.
No, but Will Ospreay is.
No, he's
and Okada. And Naito.
No,
and Ibushi.
It's plain and simple. The best wrestler holds the top title in the world. What's the top title? The WWE Championship. Therefore, Drew McIntyre, automatically best wrestler in the world. It's just the way it goes.
Like, we all know the real best in the world is.
No. I'm sorry.
It's Shane McMahon.
It's like, whoever won Grammy for Artist of the Year. They're the best artist on the planet. It's just the way it goes. Stuff like that. We're going to move on, though. Wrestle War 1989. This was a part of the trilogy between Flair and Steamboat for the big gold. All right. WWF Japan 1994. Bret Hart defeats Randy Savage to retain the WWF Championship in Yokohama, Japan. Wow. All right.
Phillip, why are you saying these things?
Why?
Why are you saying these things?
Why? Saying what things?
Why are you just randomly plugging Wrestle War 1989?
Because it happened on this day.
Oh, you didn't say that. I got so confused.
Oh, on this day. I see clearly. Everything's come to life. All right, WCW Slamboree 2020 years ago today, Jeff Jarrett defeated Diamond Dallas Page and David Arquette in a triple cage match to win back the WCW World Title. All right, there was a Raw on this day. In 2001, Steve Austin defeats Rikishi. SmackDown 2002, Dave Batista makes his debut. Alright, what else happened on this day? There was a SmackDown. The Usos lose the vacant tag titles to Rowan and Daniel Bryan. Alright, and then are we ready for all these birthdays? Will Ospreay's 27. And Helico, he's 33. Kevin Owens is 36. Tonga Loa is 37. And then a man who was never a Nugget, he was a Blackheart. Owen Hart would have been 55 years old today. Happy birthday, Owen. His episode of Dark Side of the Ring is coming up in a few weeks. I'm really looking forward to that. And Martha and his son really telling their story about everything that happened during that time. And, I think they are going to get into, the whole, will Owen go into the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm really interested in that. Sam Roberts, who, I'm a big proponent of, huge fan of, he had the guys from Dark Side of the Ring on his podcast this week. I have yet to listen to it, but I know it's going to be a good one. I think they go in depth about Herb Abrams and the UWF, if I'm not mistaken, and how a lot of this stuff has really come about. So yeah, just go. I've worked on trying to get those guys on this show. I really have. All right, but we have an interview that's going to be recorded tomorrow, and I'm very excited about that. We'll get into that once we finish wrapping up the BC. Do you have any thoughts on all those things that happened on this day, or the celebrity birthdays?
Happy birthday to the sex pig, best wrestler in the world, Will Ospreay, of course. And Phillip, I forgot to mention this back when we were talking about the revival, or the Revolt, that we were a part of history. We saw the last appearance by the Revival ever in WWE when they attacked Braun Strowman.
Yes, their last WWE televised appearance we were in there for. When Goldberg was apparently supposed to be there live, but he was live via satellite. I do remember that. Shout out to the plug for those tickets for that night, for that historic night. Those tickets are going to be worth some money, boy.
And you were the one that left. You wanted to leave early, which you did. We did.
We left 205 live. We stayed for SmackDown.
It's okay. You had a prior engagement.
I don't even remember what the engagement was.
I dropped you off at somebody's house.
Oh yes, I do remember what the engagement was now. All right, moving on. Fan mail. Robert Walker. All right, here we go. If you could provide a little inside baseball, how do you guys feel before and after recording? Relieved, fulfilled, satisfied. My buddy and I are thinking of starting a podcast / YouTube channel, and we want to know kind of what to expect before and after recordings. Wow. Brandon, how do you respond to this question?
Well, early on, maybe not nervousness, but feel a little anxiousness because I wasn't really used to talking for such a long period of time. But now that we sit here, 170 episodes, and even though only like 167 of them actually matter, I mean, at this point, it's just kind of you get in, you get your ish in, as the boys would say, and get out. So maybe a little jittery because sometimes you might be drinking coffee or an energy drink. But you do know, like, when you do a good one and when you have a bad one. Like, I think we're on the right track on this one, Phillip.
Yeah, I mean, you could be like me where I'm just tongue-tying and botching Roman Reigns' escape or a race. You see, I'm doing it right now. Haven't fully woken up yet. But hey, you do have your good ones. I remember after a couple recordings, Brandon, myself, and the other guy who used to be here, I was like, okay, that was really good. You just kind of know. And about nervousness, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I am nervous before every recording I do. That's just how it is. But once I press record, I become the podfather, the light comes on, and you got to go. And then you realize, once you're talking, like we're doing it right now, like, all right, we're 26 minutes in, and then you're 45 minutes in, and then, oh, man, you're an hour and 15 in. It's time to go home. So you'll get there, man. But it's fun, You just get somebody you can do this with and just have fun with it. That's all that truly matters, man.
Just don't be a young boy number 2.
No. Don't be a young boy number 2. Don't do that. If you have amazing vocals like him, then by all means, All right, Hootie Who 420.
Hootie Who.
Mates, this live Dynamite was exciting and refreshing. Their tape stuff was good and at times very good. But I loved live Dynamite, and I'm excited about Double or Nothing too. I would love to be a part of Double or Nothing too, I would love to be in that press scrum after the event asking questions, but unfortunately that cannot happen. So that sucks. But yeah, we're going to talk about Dynamite once we get to that portion of the show. Jack of all trades. I think Vink and Thorne could be a real threat moving forward in the tag team division. Also, thoughts on the Revolt on Talk is Jericho this week. Love the Revolt. We were part of their last ever televised appearance for WWE. So it was good-ish, pal. Alright, and then last up, let me go to the Instagram DMs here. Alright. And Brightest Day X. with both the men's and women's Money in the Bank matches supposedly happening at the same time, could this wind up being a mistake? No, I think they can cut away at different, kind of like the Backlot Brawl, Hollywood Backlot Brawl, 12, Piper and Goldust. I think they can just cut away at different points in times, have other matches going along, and then just be like, oh, let's check in to see how they're doing. And then Carmella opens a door and like, oh my god, it's the Boogeyman, or something like that. I'm hoping the Boogeyman is there. I will pop if I see the Boogeyman there. I will. Yeah, so I think that could be very interesting. Brandon?
First off, I need to thank our graphic designer, ImBrightestAX, because he actually emailed two questions at my other podcast, Curveballs and Cherry Shots. If you'd like to email a question, whether it be sports, wrestling, or anything in between, just curveball, and cs@gmail.com. Just got to throw that out there. But back to your regularly scheduled program. The Money in the Bank match, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think they're just going to have it, just one clear shot, just kind of one long segment. And since I guess both men's and women's matches are going to happen at the same time, you can kind of just jump back and forth. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it in the ring, because that's going to be kind of awkward. Or the men and the women aren't going to really get in any physical contact. So if the things are right next to each other, what happens if one person accidentally? I don't know.
I heard it on Sam Roberts' podcast. It would have been funny if R-Truth was in this match, and since they've made him kind of just an idiot on TV, he could have wind up and grabbed the woman's briefcase, I got it, I'm the Money in the Bank, and then somebody could be like, that's the woman's one, he'd be like, uh-oh, my bad, and then have to hook it back up. Then I'm like, oh, haha, that could have been funny. But I don't know. I don't think any women are going to get into a physical, or women and men are going to get into physical altercations. But I think it's just going to be interesting to see those characters interacting with each other. He also says, speaking of Money in the Bank at Titan Towers, do you think they'll have more pay-per-views there if this is a success? I think it depends on the pay-per-view. I think Money in the Bank is a special occasion. And yeah, man, I'm excited. It's going to be something new and different. And then they hit it out of the park with the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse match. So I'm excited. And then last up, the only quote-unquote TikTok I give a damn about and will ever give a damn about is Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux. Hey, man. I've seen images and a little video from Karrion Kross, formerly known as Killer Kross, Karrion's killer debut, and it was very good. I liked what I saw, man. I'm sure Brandon will cover that on his next Under the Radar, right?
Of course, because, eventually I'll make a new Under the Radar, even though it's been 3 weeks, but there hasn't been enough stuff to really talk about. But, I do love me some Smoke Show. She's technically not the Smoke Show anymore, she's just Scarlett, but I thought it was a very good introduction of the duo on NXT this week.
Yes, got to meet Scarlett Bordeaux at StarCast. Very, very nice, very pleasant. How was she with you?
Fantastic. Of course, I was not awkward whatsoever.
No, I would hope not. Never be awkward when you meet female talent, ladies and gentlemen. That's just, gentlemen, really, gentlemen. Don't be weird. Just get your picture, get the autograph, say if you like a match or a feud they had, and move on. Don't be creepy.
I'm not that kind of awkward. When I meet somebody, I really don't know what to say, because I just feel weird being like, oh my god, you were so great, I loved your match, and blah, blah, blah. And what are they supposed to say? Cool.
No, I mean, when I met her, I was like, I enjoyed your stuff with Disco Inferno. She was like, oh, thank you. Just pleasantries. If you saw the way I interacted with Kelly, it was simple pleasantries. It was very calm and cool and collected.
We were working then, Philip.
Exactly. Just treat it like that. Don't be creepy. That's all I can say. Don't be creepy. And Killer Kross up close is a very large man, and he intimidated me.
Yeah, especially if Killer Kross is right there next to Scarlett, you're not going to make any advances towards her, because he will beat you down.
Don't make advances to female talent. Don't be creepy, guys. I can't emphasize that enough. All right.
Put in the DMs.
Okay. Raw recap. VIP Lounge. Nia Jax. She's not like most girls. The Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler, and Asuka. Asuka yelling in Japanese. People may think it's annoying, but I chuckle at it every single time. I'm like, haha, I love it. Absolutely love it. What are your thoughts on this episode of the VIP Lounge?
It was an okay segment, just kind of your typical everybody says something and then there you go. I do like Asuka. I've been constantly saying that. I feel like she's the MVP. She's not being used as much as she was pre-WrestleMania, but she's definitely all in her character, and she's just going super over the top. Don't know what the hell she's saying, but for some reason she said something in Japanese, and then she capped it off by saying big booty. So shout out Asuka.
Maybe she likes big butts and she cannot lie. Those other brothers can't deny. When a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist, you're not gonna finish. You're not gonna join in.
I'm not trying to get copyright struck.
Are you not a Sir Mix-a-Lot fan? Come on now. Come on.
I mean, if we're gonna like sing songs like that, you gotta. Never mind. I'm not gonna. Never. I'm just gonna stop. We're going downhill too quick.
You're just gonna stop. You're just gonna stop. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, moving on from that, there was a gauntlet match to figure out who was gonna be the last entry into the Money in the Bank. Bobby Lashley looked absolutely impressive in this. I loved it. He got rid of Titus. I forgot Titus was even with the company. I'm not gonna lie to you. Got rid of Titus pretty quick. Got rid of Akira Tozawa. And then who else did he eliminated 3 men. Who else was there that he got rid of?
I don't know, but once again, Akira Tozawa, the man who is leading his group in the NXT Cruiserweight tournament, is being squashed once again on Raw. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
Okay, I mean, I can understand the squash this week. I mean, it was Bobby Lashley. He's almighty. Oh, it was Shelton. It was Shelton Benjamin. Dude, they gotta pull the trigger with Shelton, man. They gotta pull the trigger. Like my guy needs to win the world title.
If they haven't done it in 16 years, why are they going to do it now?
Because we can tell a story. It took Christian 17 years to win the world title. We could tell something here with Shelton Benjamin. I mean, look, tag titles, IC title. He was the gold standard and was the United States champion. He left, went to Ring of Honor, became a tag champion there. Went to Japan, was Black Dynamite with MVP. Now he's come back to WWE, formed a tag team with Gable. Didn't really go off all that well. Okay. I want the gold standard back, I want Shelton Benjamin to reach that pinnacle of this business and win the world title. I want him and Lashley too, man.
Remember when he was just had extreme close-ups and make funny faces and stare off into the distance? Whatever happened to that?
If we forgot about it, then it never happened. That's I wear the Vince McMahon mugshot shirt. Yep. Anyway, Bobby Lashley looked impressive. And then Humberto Carrillo, I'm not really a fan of him. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not. So when Bobby Lashley gets disqualified for stomping him out, he missed the 5 count, and then Angel Garza comes out there, gets rolled up or whatever. Austin Theory gets rolled up. And then the phenomenal one, yes, he is not a zombie. AJ Styles is alive. He beats Humberto Carrillo, and he's in the match, man. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Yeah,
the internet told us that AJ Styles is going to be coming back on Monday, and he did. Now he's in the Money in the Bank match. I mean, the match was okay. I mean, a lot of kind of quick falls, and I mean, all of them except for Akira Tozawa, obviously, I kind of agree with, because none of these guys are really going anywhere. And then the promo afterwards by AJ was just kind of there, just kind of spinning in circles, not really doing a whole lot, just kind of brushing off what exactly happened at the Boneyard match, which I guess is what a heel is supposed to do. But if you're going to have something again like that, it's, it kind of, what's the reason to get invested?
Absolutely. All right, Seth Rollins, the Monday Night Messiah. He has an interview with Charlie Caruso. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it's just very similar to what he's been doing, just kind of the low tone, very slow, soft-spoken Seth Rollins. I mean, I'm a fan of it, but it is kind of one-dimensional at times, so hopefully maybe after this match he can kind of evolve the character, because I don't think he can really do this, every single week.
Yeah, it's just really kind of talking in circles every single week in a way too. Talks about how he doesn't need to do this, he has to do this, it's for Drew's own good, stuff like that. He's trying to save Drew from himself, which If we're doing this cult leader Jesus gimmick, I guess so.
It's very Bray Wyatt-esque. It's like he's saying things, but they don't really make any sense or come to fruition whatsoever. So it's like it's kind of hard to get invested.
The thing about that whole Bray Wyatt character, like originally the rocking chair guy, he would say things didn't make sense, but it's the way he said them and his cadence that you didn't give a damn that they didn't make sense. You just listened. Seth needs to maybe if he alters the cadence or just says things that matter.
Maybe he'll just go full Jesus and show up next week in like a white robe.
That would be great. Alright, the Aussie badasses Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne defeat the Ebony Lions, Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. You know, they've acquired the help of Montel Vontavious Porter. He's a ballin' individual if you didn't know. And now they're ballin' with the win over WWE's newest prominent tag team.
The match itself was alright. I mean, it was really short, but I just don't understand why you bring in Vink and Thorne, have them lose a couple matches in a row, and then now that they have MVP, and they haven't even shown what MVP actually does for them, except for just like talk to them and try to motivate them, then now they beat Ricochet and Cedric, who are, I mean, it's kind of hard to gauge what exactly momentum is when there's no crowd, but they were being pushed at a certain level, and then they just lose to these two. I wish they just had each of these guys be in a squash match. The match was only like 5 minutes, so you could just have like two-minute squashes, and then kind of rebuild Vink and Thorne to have them have this match, you know, later on down the line and be like an anchor for an out for, you know, a top of the hour segment.
Alright, first of all, we don't really need to know what MVP's doing for them, alright? Sometimes lucrative deals and lucrative conversations happen behind closed doors. They'll come to light eventually. Right now, we don't need to know. MVP said something to them, lit a fire under their asses, and look at them. They're beating a former Cruiserweight champion and a former United States champion. That's what's up.
And instead of Ricochet and Cedric, you know, being on the Ascension, not to be confused with the Ascension.
Oh, what happened to those guys?
I don't know. Don't really care, to be honest. They're, you know, devalued, and now they're kind of at Vink and Thorne's level, which is, you know, lower mid-card at this point, and who really knows if they can get back up there, even with MVP's guidance.
I think they'll make it. I think they'll be okay. Alright, what else happened on Monday Night Raw? The Viking War Raider Experience defeated the Raw Tag Team... oh my god, Jesus. I am lost for words. The Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, because they bring the swag like nobody else. Yeah.
Like nobody can.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I went to sleep at like 4 a.m. I apologize.
Did you watch some Korean baseball?
What? What did you say?
Did you watch some Korean baseball? The KBO is back, and it's the only real live sports that's going on at this point. I watched opening day. I wish I can watch more, but, you know, when they're being aired at like 2:30 in the morning, not exactly conducive to my sleep schedule.
You watched Korean baseball. Wow.
At this point, we're 7 weeks into this quarantine, no live sports. I'll take anything at this point.
Aren't the Lakers supposed to reopen their training facility May 18th? Isn't that what I read? Something like that?
I don't want to see LeBron James taking free throws in a gym. I want to see actual sports.
What? I mean, come on. Maybe he can. May 18th. Is that a Tuesday? I know he loves Taco Tuesday. I know he's a big proponent of that.
I know he went crazy this Tuesday. Taco Tuesday and Cinco de Mayo.
Oh man.
Have you seen photos of LeBron James? He's looking like Kimbo Slice right now.
Is he R.I.P. to Kimbo Slice?
He got the wave cap and he's got a big old beard.
Wow. I haven't seen Braun lately. I'm going to have to go check out the gram. Alright, well, moving on from that, Aleister Black cuts a promo. AJ kind of threw a little dig at Aleister Black in his promo after he wins the gauntlet match to qualify for Money in the Bank. And, you know, Aleister just kind of throws a shot back at AJ. It's not much that happened.
I mean, yeah, this is kind of what Aleister Black does. He kind of talks a little bit, and then when he ends his promo, it's kind of too cute by half, which I don't really like, but... I mean, at this point, Aleister Black is kind of a gimmick, and that's just how he talks.
Yeah. That squeaking when he in his entrance music, I never really heard it until like last week. I'm like, oh, that's really prevalent now. I'm like, oh my god, that's
Never happened in NXT.
Never happened in NXT. You know, can we just not do that, please? Rey Mysterio also cuts a promo, and he talks about how he doesn't know how many world title opportunities he has left, and this was good, man. Straight up to the point. Hey, I've been here for a very long time. I'm up there in age. Don't know how many shots I got left. I'm gonna give it my all.
Very straightforward promo by Rey Mysterio. I really enjoyed it. And in both of these promos, they teased that they might get thrown off the building. So I'm a little scared that someone's going to take a Paul White bump and fall off the side of a building.
That would be great.
And then they're just going to come back 10 minutes later and no-sell it and be completely fine, just like Paul White did all those years ago.
Absolutely. All right, the Queen. The NXT Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair, talks about her upcoming match with Io Shirai. And then, Liv Morgan, because you only live once. She comes out, they go back and forth, they have a match. The Queen wins. And you could say Liv Morgan may have been hit with oblivion in her loss to the Queen.
I see what you did there.
Thank you.
The match itself, I mean, it was nothing really spectacular, but Liv, the promo, it was okay. I mean, the whole, silver spoon up the, mouth was kind of stupid. But the match itself, I mean, I think they told a good story. They're really pushing Liv at this point, kind of, saying that she's on the rise, but she put up a good fight, but just not there yet. I think there is something in Liv. I don't exactly know how far she could go. With Becky being the top face at this point, I don't really see where Liv fits into that, unless she's just kind of a character wrestler where she just kind of does some things on the mid-card, or maybe Becky turns heel. I don't really see Liv turning heel because she's kind of been there. And I see this character as more being like a babyface, but I thought it was somewhat impressive. I think it was a positive for Liv Morgan this week.
Yeah, it's a step up. She's getting more matches, so she's getting better in the ring. It takes repetition to meet perfection. Practice makes perfect. So we'll see. We'll see where she is a year from now, or not even a year. We'll give it 6 months. We'll find out.
I think she could be maybe a better fit on SmackDown because there is Bayley, the heel champion, but you got Sasha, you got Mandy over there, so I don't know.
Oh, we got a last-minute fan mail. Are you ready?
Stay ready, so you don't got to get ready.
All right, this one comes from Dan. Hey guys, when when the wrestling world is allowed to have fans again, when do you think that will be, and what capacity will it be? Well, I could say for WWE, I think they'll just have to use the Performance Center for quite some time, because I think the last show with fans was at NXT at the Performance Center, right?
Correct.
So I think they're just gonna have to run that format for quite some time. And then as far as AEW, I'm sure they'll figure something out. They'll have it worked. And then oh my God, I do believe we'll have indie shows by the end of the year. I really do.
Well, it's all just based on what state, what county all these events are taking place at. We're definitely seeing Florida being more open. We saw AEW this week. They had more staffing, had more people kind of in the crowd, spaced out. And I think AEW is much more equipped at this point with Daly's Place being their central hub, being an outdoor amphitheater, that they can have a lot more fans, be spaced out, have a fan every 2 or 3 seats. And at this point, I could see wrestling like indie shows maybe back at the end of the year, especially because if they are on that smaller scale, you could have 50 people, but then at that point it's like how inducive or how much money is actually in that, because a lot of it is driven off the fans, off of how much tickets they're selling, how much merchandise they're selling. And so with WWE and AEW, I know a lot of people are hoping for SummerSlam to be like that show that everyone comes back at, but at this point, I think maybe the Royal Rumble is a much more optimistic or realistic expectation to have.
That's a possibility. Another thing about AEW and the whole, doing shows and pre-recording. Go listen to Tony Khan. He was on AEW Unrestricted yesterday, and he gave a lot of insight into, when he knew he was going to have to pre-record stuff. Shout out to Aubrey Edwards, the referee there. She did 20 matches in a row. So like they were just taping match after match after match, and he made accommodations for people to stay there, and luckily there was enough crew in Georgia, for them to get stuff done. They did Daly's place for a couple weeks, and then they went over to Georgia, just pre-recorded a lot of stuff, and he said they were probably going to do about 8 weeks of stuff, but they did what they did, and now they had live Dynamite, which we're about to talk about after this last Raw segment. But it was a really great listen to kind of see how the mind of Tony Khan works. So please go check that out. And as we finish wrapping up Monday Night Raw, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Psychopath, defeats the Disciple Seth Rollins' Buddy Murphy. What are your thoughts?
The match itself was good. Seth Rollins just kind of hanging out at ringside, just really doing nothing, and then kind of getting involved a little bit at the end of the show. I did like the finish of Murphy kind of being on the upper hand and then doing the countdown, and then out of nowhere, Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore. I thought that was a nice finish there. Overall, I thought the show was all right, but the ratings are just continuing to dip. We're seeing all-time lows for our ratings and viewership. And Philip, I'd like to ask you, what do you think is the reason behind that? Is it just the product? Is it the fans not being in attendance because that affects the product in the ring? I think AEW having wrestlers in the crowd, having staff in the crowd, especially this week, having a lot more people, definitely adds to the atmosphere and makes it a better show.
Yeah, that's another thing. He said he was watching Jimmy Fallon, The Tonight Show, and he basically had the Roots band and then like some producers in the crowd for laughter. That's where he got that idea from. Yeah, I think it is not having the fans in the crowd. I would love for WWE to just kind of have staff personnel around the ring, but I don't think they're doing that, because if they do that, then people will be like, oh, they just stole it from AEW, and that's them kind of quote unquote acknowledging that it exists and all this other stuff.
And also, Stephanie also kind of said that they're not doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they should. I really do, because it would make a hell of a lot better for the show. And maybe people would kind of be a little more tuned in and invested. Like have the trainees at the performance center, kind of spread them out. I know they have a large class of them. Just spread them out, because I think Florida has reopened, right? Correct? Yeah, Florida and Georgia have reopened. So just find out what the capacity limit is, and then just kind of work with it, man. And then you can have like a different group of people per match. Like it doesn't have to be the same faces. So yeah, like let's just suck it up and do it, guys. As far as this match, I did think this was very good. It was solid. And Seth, just coming in, super kicking Drew, and is like, "This isn't about you. It's bigger than you, and it's about the title. It's about the title of record." And the last time Seth was WWE champion, he lost it like 5 minutes or 2 minutes later to Dean Ambrose. That was the night Seth, Dean, and Roman all held the title within a 5-minute span. First time a group has ever done that. That was pretty cool all those years ago. But yeah, as we move on, AEW Dynamite. Cody, don't call him Rhodes, the American Nightmare. First live Dynamite in weeks. I loved it. He goes up against the bad boy Joey Janela. Cody gets the win with the beautiful crossroads onto Janela. This was good, man. I liked the more people that were out around ringside. It added to the atmosphere, like we were just talking about.
Yeah, and I like the return to Daly's place. It has a much more main event feel. It doesn't really feel like you're in a gym as they were for like 2 months in Georgia. But overall, I really like the atmosphere that they've created there. It's so much better than what WWE has been doing. NXT, it's a little bit different. Yes, it's an empty arena, but it's kind of more blacked out, so you don't really get the empty feel as much. But going back to the Scarlett and Karrion Kross debut, it was like super awkward, because it was like this super over-the-top smoke and Scarlett like lip-syncing to the song, and then they just like stand there for 5 seconds like just in dead silence, and it was just super awkward and weird. And I know AEW probably wouldn't do something that over the top. We have Broken Matt, but it just kind of emphasized that like there's no fans in this, because especially in the debut you would like expect like a reaction of some sort.
Absolutely. That's where you need the crowd, man. I have seen images of what NXT's doing, and it does look very interesting. I'm gonna have to really just start watching and play catch up. Yeah, so this was interesting. And then next up, we have the AEW Women's World Champion Nyla Rose Not gonna lie, I forgot she was the champion. And I'm high on Nyla Rose. I'm so high on her. She defeats Kenzie Page. These promos that they're doing with Scorpio Sky, they really should have done these at the beginning of Dynamite, like you said, Brandon. But throw some of Nyla Rose so we can really get to know, Nyla and what she's all about and stuff like that. But I know it was a solid squash match. Nyla looked badass and she looked good.
I mean, it was a good squash match. I think it was a good kind of reset of the women's division. They did the video package, kind of talking about Nyla, talking about all the other contenders in the women's division, and then you bring in Nyla. I mean, a lot of the champions at this point aren't there. You got them, you got Nyla, you got Adam Page. The tag team division isn't really doing anything at this point. Moxley hasn't been there, so I mean, there hasn't really been any title things going on at this point. So I like that they kind of reset the division. Nyla comes in, has a solid squash match, and then they're going to have the the four-way next week, and whoever wins that is pretty much the number one contender. So then that's going to set up a match at Double or Nothing. More than likely, Hikaru Shida.
Yeah, I think it will be her. All right, Maxwell Jacob Friedman has a promo. Great green screen by AEW, I might add. He's having some wine, and he talks about how people call him a 24-year-old kid, and how people say he's good on the mic, but he's not Piper, he's not Flair, and he's not Rock. Talks about how he's better and all this other stuff. So good work from MJF as always.
Yeah, the green screen I thought was a little cheesy, but I don't know if that was supposed to be intentional because MJF kind of playing up how rich and how powerful he is. So, I mean, I'll give him a pass on that. The promo itself, I thought it was really good. I think MJF has been good in these quick little promos, and then also Sean Spears I thought had a really good promo as well. And then kind of going back, they did the interview with Tony Schiavone, and just overall what MJF and Sean Spears did in that kind of 10-minute group of time, I thought was really, really good.
Yeah, the commentary team, it was Excalibur, good old JR, and Tony Schiavone. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed all of it. Glad to hear good old JR back on the call. Him, Schiavone and Jericho, they were entertaining the past couple weeks. So I was like, okay, this is fun. Oh yeah, MJF has done great with these promos. Moving on, Kazarian's first singles match in AEW. He goes up against the world champion Jon Moxley. And Moxley, beautiful paradigm shift to end the match.
Solid match, have the champ come in, get a win over a kind of beloved veteran in the tag team division. Made sense, and then we get the challenger for Moxley Championship at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, so this is where I was getting heat on the internet. I told you about earlier before we started recording. Somebody put on the internet that this is just TNA 2.0. They're just throwing a former WWE guy right into the main event. I'm like, not necessarily just throwing him in. He's been there for 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Basically, when the pandemic started, stuff started getting shut down. So he's been. I think he has the best win record right now. Right? He's had a couple of matches. He's this powerful new guy, and so that's the perfect foil for the champion who's all about fighting anybody and everybody whenever. So I'm like, okay, I'm down for Brody Lee versus Jon Moxley because they've had some great matches in CZW back in the day, but I don't think it's really going to be all death matchy. But plus, the Maryland Board of Commissions just fined AEW $100,000. For that
$10,000.
Oh, 10,000. Sorry, for that match that Moxley and Omega had, that unsanctioned match. But yeah, so I'm interested to see Brody Lee, suited and booted, taking on Jon Moxley for the AEW World Title.
I mean, the whole Maryland Athletic Commission thing, that's just a complete joke. I mean, come on, guys. It's wrestling. It's not a real sport. But whatever, I digress.
It's not a real sport. How dare you? It's the only thing on TV.
I'm sorry, David Schultz. Don't come after me.
Better reckon, boy. Sorry, I apologize.
Hey, Dr. D was on Talkin' Shop this week. Fantastic interview.
Was he?
The Good Brothers are back.
I have to go listen to that.
But going back to the Brody Lee thing, I thought it was really good having the whatever they're called, creepers or whatever, beat down Moxley, and then Brody Lee comes out, and then Mox is just like, if you wanted the title shot, all you had to do was ask, buddy. And then now we're here. I think it should be a really good match. As you said, they have history in WWE, in CZW. But I will play devil's advocate, Philip. The only non-WWE person to challenge for that title, I believe, is Scorpio Sky. Everybody else has been WWE. You got Cody Rhodes, Jake Hager, Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho. You could say Hangman Page in the beginning, but technically, that was just like the first championship match. So only Hangman Page and Scorpio Sky have been non-WWE people to face for that title.
Okay, look, here's the thing. Name me one company where nobody on that roster, out of New Japan, MLW, Impact, Ring of Honor, out of all those companies, name me one roster that has no WWE talent. You can't.
I mean, New Japan kind of has their own group of talent in the main event.
My point is, you can't. You can't. So, you know what, it's... Who cares? Let's say, like, 10 out of these 30 releases go over to New Japan. Is New Japan going to be considered a WWE cast-off company?
Well, they're not running any shows at this point.
So. No, I'm saying, like, once everything starts back up, and, like, 10 of those guys go over there, are they going to be considered a WWE cast-off company?
I mean, I can't wait for No Way Jose to beat Naito in the Tokyo Dome to become IWGP champion.
Okay, look, if that happens, then you might... I don't know. I will fly to Japan personally and talk to Gato and be like, what the hell are you thinking? You know?
Gato, big fan of the Bullet Cast.
I think he is a big fan of the Bullet Cast. He might be. I don't know. We'll find out.
After he sends us a cease and desist.
I don't think he can do that.
Because your boy got trademarks and stuff.
Exactly. I'm ahead of the curve. I'm out here. God. All right, moving on. The Murder Hawk. I'm kind of coming around to it. The Murder Hawk. He defeats QT Marshall. He's a part of the Nightmare family. Natural Nightmares with Dustin Rhodes. He gets beaten, and then Jake the Snake Roberts, face mask and all, comes out there with a new... Does this snake have a name? I know Damien has to have died by now.
Damien Jr.
He comes out there with Damien Jr. after Britt Baker, DMD. She had a great interview on Chris Van Vliet, by the way. Go check that out. She attacks Brandy Rhodes, and I wouldn't be opposed to her joining up with the Murder Hawk and Jake. I think that'd be cool. That'd be a nice little interesting trio. He just lays it all over Brandy. Where the hell is Cody?
I actually think they did a great job at covering of why Cody wasn't there, because they said, the locker rooms are so far away, you have to take a golf cart just to get to the ring. So I thought they covered their bases quite nicely here, kind of saying that, everyone is just so far away from the action that's why nobody actually could come down and save Brandy. So I thought they did a great job in that point.
Okay. I didn't
listen to the commentary.
I'm sorry. I've had to watch highlights. I moved into a new home. I work on Wednesdays. I can't really watch the whole show live. But I'm getting a Roku this weekend, so I'll be able to finally watch the whole stuff live. I'm excited for that. All right, and in the main event, Les Sex Gods, Les Champions, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara go up against one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Kenny Omega and Broken Matt Hardy. This was a tag team street fight. The Big Hurt, Jake Hager, was in the corner of Les Sex Gods, and it was interesting, man. It was just a brawl, and Matt Hardy, he put on his Instagram, how he kept jumping into the lake of reincarnation. He became Team Extreme Matt Hardy. He became Big Money Matt. He became Version 1 Matt, which is criminally underrated. Spitting out Matt facts, and then he became Broken Matt Hardy again. And that's basically what happened whenever he would disappear. Remember, he went to the ice chest and came back out as Broken Matt Hardy. I remember he got pushed away or something, and he became Team Extreme Matt Hardy for a little bit, throwing out Twist of Fates. So, what were your thoughts on the match, man?
I thought this match was a lot of fun. Kenny kind of said on his Twitter that, the DDT style couldn't work in America, and this definitely was a DDT style match here. I thought it was a lot of fun. Kenny, taking the pinfall, he was kind of double pinned by Jericho and Guevara, so it does protect him a little bit. As I said, this isn't exactly the way I would be pushing Kenny, but this is kind of what Kenny likes to do. He likes to be super serious and have those fantastic 20-star matches, but then he also likes to have a lot of fun and have just crazy over-the-top matches like this.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I found out that when he was teaming with Michael Nakazawa in Japan, one of their tag team moves was called the Hentai Slide. Yeah.
What's hentai, Philip?
It is animated porn.
The more you know.
I just found out that it actually had a name a few years ago. Mex Mendoza was the one that was like, "You didn't know it was called that?" I'm like, "No, I don't search that stuff. You sick being."
Maybe his new name should be Hentai Mendoza. No. Trademark it now.
Trademark it down. Trademark it now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to wrap up Dynamite for us. But before we leave, the title's on the line. Bulletcast title's on the line this weekend. Money in the Bank, the most interesting Money in the Bank of all time. So here we go. The SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley defends against Tamina. I love Tamina, but I don't think she's winning the title. I'm going Bayley.
Yeah, I'm going Bayley as well. I think Bayley will get the job done. I think maybe Sasha maybe turns, but just doesn't get the job done. Or maybe just turns after the match. But yeah, I don't think Tamina's as much as you love her, Philip. I don't think she's getting the title.
I know. All right, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the New Day of the Champions. They're defending against the Forgotten Sons. I know it's Jason Riker, who used to be Gunner. It's was it Wesley Blake and then some other guy. Versus the Miz and Morrison versus Lucha House Party. I think New Day retains. They just want them. Doesn't make sense to take them off of them yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go with New Day as well. The Forgotten Sons, I think they could be one of those teams or one of those acts that does a little bit better on the main roster than in NXT. I was never a big fan of them in NXT. They haven't really showcased anything differently on SmackDown, but I mean, they're getting a consistent push at this time, and maybe they're going to try to spite the revival now and push the tag teams to the moon, and they're going to be main eventing pay-per-views one day. What the hell am I saying? That's not going to happen.
You never know. Nobody thought Jinder would win the world title, but look at him. You never know. Also, speaking of New Day, for all you Boy Meets World fans, Topanga. Yeah, she was on the New Day podcast, Feel the Power. Go check it out. It was fun. No?
I mean, I know who she is, but I'm not a big Boy Meets World guy.
Wow.
Don't think I've ever really seen an episode.
Really? You've never seen Eric be like, Fina? Fina? No? Really? No?
No, and I'm older than you, Philip, so I should know more, but I don't.
Come on now, man. Come on. Step it up, man. Hop on that Disney Plus, man. It's there. All 7 seasons. It's all there.
I was always more like a Nickelodeon guy.
No, believe me. I believe we should have a Nickelodeon Plus. Kanan and Kel, my favorite sitcom of all time. That's why Keita Murray and I got along so well with Who Loves Orange Soda. Go check out that interview in the archive. Moving on, the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Asuka versus Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax versus Dana Brooke versus Lacey Evans versus former Miss Money in the Bank Carmella. Dude, this isn't. I don't know where to go. This is an interesting one. Brandon, who do you have?
I really don't know as well. There was a commercial on Raw this week that said Becky Lynch is going to face the Money in the Bank winner or whatever. So I don't know if that was a slip up or if, they do know or don't know exactly who's winning. So I'm kind of going in the direction of the 3 women from Raw. I'm bouncing between either Shayna Baszler or Nia Jax. I don't really know if this fits Shayna's character as much as I wish that she was pushed so much harder than she actually is. It's probably going to be Shayna Baszler, but because of my record, I'm going to go with Nia Jax.
Are you stealing my pick?
I mean, if you want to pick Nia and I can go with Shayna, I'm more than happy with that.
We can have the same pick. It's okay.
We've had the same pick, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have the same pick for everything except for the Money in the Bank matches, so I got to be different.
All right, so if you want Shayna, I'll give you Shayna.
Okay, and if you want Nia, I'll give you Nia.
There we go.
Which means it's going to be Asuka.
Oh, I know. No, it's going to be Dana Brooke, dude. Watch. All right, the Universal Championship. Braun Strowman goes up against Bray Wyatt. It's Strowman.
Yeah, they're saying Bray Wyatt, not The Fiend. So I'll go with Strowman as well. The feud itself hasn't really been all that intriguing, but I'll go with Strowman. I don't really know where they can go from here or who is going to unseat Strowman. Maybe the big dog once he comes out of his timeout for pissing on the rug.
Absolutely. All right, it is the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The leader of the Yes Movement, Daniel Bryan. The Dutch Destroyer, Aleister Black. The master of the 619, Rey Mysterio. King Corbin. The guy who won Mandy's Heart, Otis. And the phenomenal AJ Styles are all going at it. Looking at the SmackDown side, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I mean, Raw is not going to win both briefcases, right?
Of course not. Or maybe they will.
Maybe they will. Who do you have?
I mean, I'm just kind of looking at it. You have the babyface on SmackDown. You have you have both babyfaces on both Raw and SmackDown. So it's kind of hard for me to see Ray, Bryan, Black, or Otis winning it. So, I mean, I don't know if it is between Corbin and Styles. Maybe I'll go with AJ just because Corbin's been there, done that. Bryan's done it before, and I think they kind of like having, first time evers, and maybe AJ is the one to win it. I'm not exactly confident on that pick, but I'll go with AJ Styles.
Oh, we can't have the same picks, man. Why do you keep doing this?
Well, you're the one that keeps deferring to me, so... You're the champion. If you wanted the first pick, you could have taken it, but you didn't.
Oh my god, this is going to be very interesting. So our only different pick is the woman's Money in the Bank?
Everything's right on that.
Wow, I know.
And we couldn't even get that one right, so.
I know, right? For the WWE title, I'm picking Drew McIntyre.
Maybe we won't have different picks.
Oh, are you gonna run those chances?
No, I'm going with Drew McIntyre.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, let's read them back. So here we go. We both have Bayley. We both have New Day. You have I have Nia Jax. You have Shayna Baszler. We both have Strowman. We both have AJ Styles. And we both have Drew McIntyre. Okay.
So everything's riding on that women's Money in the Bank match, which is taking place the same time as the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So I don't know if that's the main event or whatnot, but we'll know.
We will know. All right, Superstar Spotlight. I'm going with AEW Dynamite, a live show. More people in the crowd, more staff to work with. It was good-ish, pal, and I loved everything about it.
I'll stick with AEW. I will go with MJF. I kind of put him over strong, saying all the promos he cut. And, co-Superstar Spotlight, I'll give it to Sean Spears, even though we all know I'm not the biggest Sean Spears / Ty Dillinger guy, even though his wife, Peyton Royce, fired TikTok.
Oh, it's one of the best TikToks I've ever seen.
And she's a great cook. I mean, if you haven't seen her banana bread,
dude,
scrumptious.
Do you watch what was it, Cooking with Kathy or Kathy's Kitchen? Kathy Kelly, an amazing chef, an amazing baker as well. No?
I was trying to think of an innuendo, but I couldn't think of anything.
Wow.
Is she like Matt Riddle's wife? Riddle loves to wake and bake with his wife.
Okay. All right, tell us about our promo pick of the week, Brandon.
Well, our promo pick of the week, we're going all the way back to 1984. And we are going to be going to Continental Wrestling down there in Memphis. I don't even know if we've done anything like this before. Maybe we've done a Jerry Lawler, Andy Kaufman thing. But we got the dynamic duo of Randy Savage and David Schultz. Yes, that David Schultz from Dark Side of the Ring. This is after the slap heard around the world, I believe. Him and Randy Savage. And if you haven't seen this promo, definitely go out of your way to see it. Just type in Randy Savage and David Schultz. It's one of the first things that pops up. And David Schultz is in a tag team match with Savage to take on Lawler and somebody else. And he insinuates David That is that Jerry Lawler has AIDS, and that's why he can't find a partner. So there you go.
Wow. David Schultz held nothing back. Then of course this is Randy Savage. This is pre-WWF. Was he the Memphis champion? Is that the title he had in the promo?
I believe so. And if you see this, David Schultz is much more intense than Randy Savage, and that's saying a whole lot.
Oh, Randy Savage was, the cream of the crop and all the finger waves and the turning his back to the camera and pointing to the sky and Okerlund, look at this, yeah, all that stuff. Dr. Dave Schultz, what a character, man. Love that guy. We need to get that man on this show.
He's a good brother.
He is a good brother. We need to get that man on the show. I'm telling you. Love Dr. D. Dave Schultz. All right, closing match pick of the week. Brandon and I were there live in attendance. It happened almost a year ago, coming up in a couple weeks. The Alpha, Chris Jericho versus the Cleaner, Kenny Omega. All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing. It was May 25th, 2019. What a spectacle it was. That entrance by Jericho was absolutely phenomenal. All his incarnations of Lionheart, Sparkly Jacket, List, and then his current incarnation, and then Kenny comes out there, and they have a brawl, man. There's a table spot, there's everything. And then the Judas effect happens, and I'm like, what the hell was that? And Young Boy number 1 was by me. He's like, that's his finisher. I'm like, what? I hadn't seen the video of him saying that was going to be his finisher yet. I saw it after I got back to my Airbnb. And yeah, man, it was a spectacle, man. It really had that big match, big fight feel. That is missing from a lot of today's wrestling, as I've said before on this show. And it was really good, man. Brandon, what are your takeaways looking back almost a year ago?
In the moment, I thought the match was maybe a little bit disappointing, but in a bubble, if you kind of go back and watch it was really hard-hitting, kind of a New Japan style. I think it was kind of hurt because of the two epic matches of the Rhodes Brothers and the tag team match, but I mean, it was still a really good match. I think the crowd might have been a little bit tired, and I think they were definitely expecting something really big to happen at the end of that show, and of course it did with the debut of Jon Moxley.
Yeah, the Moxley debut, and that was cool to be a part of. Screaming at the top of your lungs. That was awesome, man. I loved it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. What is that?
That's Peyton Royce's TikTok. I forgot I was on.
Oh.
It was the first one that popped up on the Instagram, because Instagram knows what I want.
Instagram, I bet they do know what you want.
Give me what I want.
There you go. I was waiting for it. As Real TWC throws a Throwback Thursday. And they post a picture of Team Angle. Underrated, by the way. Very, very underrated.
As underrated as Sonya Deville?
Oh, absolutely. And then Baby Huey posts a photo of him and the Nate. Wow. That's great. We got to get Nate on this show, man. We'll have to shove out something, but we're going to have to make that happen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm interviewing somebody tomorrow via Skype. We're going to continue with the interviews now that I have my own casa and I have a private interviewing quarters. So the goal is 20 interviews this year. We are sticking to that. Brandon has done 3 of them. Please go check them out. They're all phenomenal. Wrestling personified Rick Luxury, legendary referee Sparky Balor, and Starboy Charlie. He's done good work there. I'm very proud of him. Kelly was the first one of the year. We started off hot. We've kind of cooled down due to the pandemic, but I'm not giving up. I will try to get 20 interviews out.
Kelly, fire TikTok as well.
Fire TikTok as well, absolutely. I'm trying to get 20 interviews out to you people. Thank you for all the continued love and support. Seriously, I really appreciate it. I think Brandon appreciates it as well. Am I right?
Of course.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to, go to eltecalote.org, I believe, and you can read my article on Starboy Charlie.
Absolutely. So that interview I'm doing tomorrow will drop Monday morning. Brandon and I will be doing a recap of Money in the Bank Sunday night. Find out if he won the Bulletcast title, and I forgot we still do that Bulletcast Money in the Bank thing. I won the title, and I'm just going to let it expire. There we go. Alright, follow us on Twitter at Bulletcast, Instagram, The Bulletcast, YouTube channel, The Bulletcast. Email us bulletcast2 sweet@gmail.com. Every Friday night from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. 99.9 FM K-Dub in Watsonville. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spotify, and Patreon. We will talk to you guys on Sunday. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, and stay quarantined.
No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt when your face is in the
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.